Gotta dig the dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Doni Jones, she the one you wanna see. Doni Jones Live, this is where you wanna be. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Welcome to Doni Jones Live. I am Doni the Tree Lady hanging out.
That guy, Marty McFly, that's just enjoying life.
You always
I'm enjoying life. The ups and downs, it's like Six Flags. The roller coaster.
It is definitely the roller coaster, you know.
Yeah.
But what's cool is that, you know, for those that are new to the show, you may not know, but for those of you that have been following us for a while, anytime we're on that roller coaster, we talk a little bit about it. And today is no different.
And
today
it's
is
not jokes. It's
no
made up. We talk about real life.
We do talk about real life.
Right.
We do talk about real life. But what's funny now is that, you know, we talked about putting systems in place. And I remember one of the shows you talk about that, you know, there's 5 things that a business should be doing in banking.
And the promotions,
And promotions. And we talked about marketing and everything. And what's crazy for me is I feel like, wait a minute, we can't miss our toast. For those of you that can't see us, we're making a little toast. There we go.
Our coffee toast.
Exactly, we're doing our coffee toast. You're so funny. But, you know, the thing is, you start putting stuff in place, right?
I said it.
Oh, okay, I'm trying to be creative.
I got you.
So you put stuff in place,
Right.
You're trying to do stuff right, things start moving in the right direction. That's what I'm saying. And all of a sudden, like stuff starts going crazy. You're like, wait a minute, but I'm doing the right thing, and I'm making moves, and I'm setting systems in place, and I've brought some good people on board, and the people I've got are already really great, and they're raising their game. So if everybody's raising their game, right, you're putting systems in place, and you know, I talk about systems because I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a mom, and sometimes being a mom and a wife, you have to put systems in place.
It's systems,
still
right?
Management,
right?
Why does it feel like everything is going crazy?
You know,
what is that about?
You know, I don't.
What is that?
I feel that same thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm going through the same thing. I'm saying, like with the new business, with the production company,
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
Everything will go good for a week, and
Yeah.
then it's like tragedy. You know,
Yeah.
not major stuff, but
Yeah.
it's like obstacles. It's like, okay, what have I got to do with this
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I think, I don't know. You know, I was gonna make up something. I don't know why.
Well, no, but
it is a part of the system.
It's part of the process. Part of growth. You know.
Yeah.
So, for example, I just got off the phone with Fatima, and for those of you that don't know, I bring her name up sometimes because she's literally my right-hand person.
Yes.
When it comes to my admin team, she's incredible, and I've got a great admin team. I got Dolly, Maria, just good people. So, I call her, and you know, I'd asked her to do something else, and you know, and then she was telling me about a customer and stuff. And so we were like, oh my God, there's so much going on today. And so I mentioned, man, she mentioned there was a lot of pressure. You know, no, I mentioned that's a lot of pressure. I was like, I'm sorry, I know it's a lot of pressure I'm putting on you. And she said something. She goes, pressure makes diamonds. And I was like, that is so true. It's like, I feel like God puts all these systems in place in the natural world, right?
Right.
To give us an example of what it's going to be in our world. Meaning, if you're trying to grow, you're going to go through growing pains, like, you know, giving birth to something. There's a gestation period, and then you've got to push that baby out, and then once the baby's out, you got to take care of it, you got to nurture it. It's the same thing with a small business or a big business, because, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, there's those processes, and pressure is part of the process.
Pressure is part of the process, and then like breaking is also part of the process.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever a flower or a seed is creating new life in the stem, it has to break.
Yeah.
You know, like you were saying about having children, well, the sac, in a sense, the water has to break. You know, there's always things that you have to break through. And I think even with business, you know, you set up these systems, but you still got to break through with them.
Yeah.
You know, and even setting up the systems, you have to set up the systems for the situations not to work too. You know, because it's like I have to start setting aside money for repairs for my computer because the computer is going to break down.
That's right.
It's going to be those, you know, and it's a part of the system. You know, and since you was going to take it biblical, or you know, like, well, God puts this
I thought about that, and
you
I
know,
was like, okay, I don't know if he's got a sermon ready for me.
I'm not
so
even
go
going to
ahead.
say a sermon in a sense, but I'll say this in in defensive combat,
Yeah.
in fighting in martial arts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
when you're fighting against your opponent, if they're
Yeah.
a good opponent, they're swinging at where you're trying to go to.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not swinging at where you're at.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I think the adversary is trying to swing at us from where we're going.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we'll set up a system as, well,
Yeah.
let me challenge it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, with that, biblically, every time someone kind of said something in the Bible, they were challenged with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like Peter, I'm going to stay with you forever.
Yeah.
I'll never leave you. It's
Yeah.
like, well, tomorrow you ain't going to know me. I'm going to
Yeah.
put you what you said
Right,
to a test,
right,
in a sense.
right.
So I think when we start setting up these systems, we are tested.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a part of, I guess, the growth.
Yeah.
That we're gonna touch it. We're gonna
But
face it.
here's the
We're
other
gonna deal
thing.
with it.
As entrepreneurs and business people, we want to grow, right?
Right.
And in order to grow, you have to be able to handle bigger challenges. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to handle bigger challenges, you've got to have more challenges to handle. So I'm not saying that God gives you those challenges, but I'm saying He uses those challenges.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I forget if it's a book. I think it is a book. What got you here won't get you there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times
yeah.
we ask for growth and we want to grow, but then we want to stay where we're at. And sometimes God has to allow, or He will allow for certain things to happen, so you'll move.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, oh, I can't do that way anymore. So
I can believe that.
For
I can definitely
me,
believe that.
my big thing is delegation. I've got a great team of people, but there's still things that I will delegate it, and then I peek to make sure. And I don't need to peek to make sure.
Well, they say you need to inspect what you expect.
Okay, well, yeah, but I'm talking about, like, if
you
you
don't have
ask
to-
somebody to do something, and they're capable of doing it, and then while they're doing it, you're like, hey, what's going on, da-da-da, as opposed to waiting for the process to happen. Like you put something in
Yeah.
somebody's hands,
Well,
and instead
you
of
don't
waiting.
want to micromanage.
I don't
want
wanna
to
micromanage, yeah.
You're not micromanaging, but because that's an interesting kind of positioning spot.
Yeah.
Because it's like this. As a pastor, if y'all don't know, I'm a pastor of St. Mark
Yeah.
Lutheran Church.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have a right hand.
Yeah.
Like you have Dolly. I have a Linda who is perfect. In most cases. But like we've had funerals, or we've had we brought new people into the church. And I didn't double check and see if she even had the name spelled right
Yeah,
on the people.
yeah, yeah.
So they received
You
their
can't really say
certificate.
her name, dude. About the spelling. Like, you can't say the person's name.
No, it's not. It's not really her fault. It's one of those things I didn't expect.
You didn't expect. Okay,
Right,
got it. You
I
didn't
didn't look over
inspect what
this.
you expected.
Right. I didn't look over this and realize, oh, you put a Y instead of a J on the end of his name.
Right, right.
Or someone's birthday that I know is, okay, it's the 27th and you said the 24th.
Right.
Certain things is like I might need to kind of
Inspect what you
inspect it.
expect.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a micromanager that call
Right.
her every day and say, what you doing now?
Right.
What you doing now?
Yeah.
Did you get this done?
Yeah.
No, because I trust them.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you need to have people in your company and in your organization that you trust.
Yeah.
But you do have to hold them accountable and just check back on them.
Yeah.
It's funny, and I'm gonna, since we got 3 minutes left, I'm gonna share something I ain't shared with Donnie, and Donnie's gonna look at me kind of strange, like, oh, really? Because I have a lady that, every Sunday she's supposed to send out our church Sunday program.
Yeah.
And the other week I looked, I was like, I noticed you didn't send it out this week, and
Yeah.
kind of called her and was like, well, I noticed you didn't send it out. Can you get it out? Because I'm
Yeah.
kind of adamant about, getting our product out there, our service out there. And then there's like the next day I looked and I was like, wait a minute, you ain't sent this out for a couple of months.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me holler at you for a minute. Hold on. I don't know why I'm feeling a certain kind of way.
Right, you're feeling it so right.
And I'm like, I'm looking at her, and she, while somebody looking at me, and I'm kind of looking like,
yeah.
I know how this
Well,
kind of feels
sometimes
right now.
God will put you in a place
God
where you
has
can
an
understand
interesting-
how other people feel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I learned, and I'm learning how
Yeah.
to address certain
Yeah.
problems
Yeah.
better than I have in the past.
Yeah.
Because in the past it'd be just all attitude, but it's like, well, in a church thing, a lot of people volunteering.
Yeah.
You can't have that same
Right.
kind of attitude. However, letting them know that this is serious
Yeah.
and this is a part of our system that we put together, and you mucking up our system.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. It's part of raising your standards, too.
True. You know what, that's
Because
true,
we've been
too.
talking about that. That's one of the things I feel is a theme in our shows, is that, we're always trying to do better, be better, achieve this, that, and the third. But when you raise your standards, sometimes you have to make the decision on whether somebody's the right person for something, or not the right person. Or maybe you got the right people, but you haven't done your part as far as training is concerned, and inspecting what you expect.
Right.
It's like, because I just started, I'm sorry.
No, because I totally agree with you. And in the defense of this individual, they're a great person.
Yeah.
They do slip up on certain things,
Yeah.
and certain things, I guess, to them may not be as important,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why I have to remind them in my company, in the sense of the church management system, this is what is needed.
Yeah.
Now, one of the thoughts that I had, after I addressed it, she just said, yes, I got to get back on it.
Okay.
And this last Sunday, I was looking like, when you going to send this out? When you going to send this out? And she did. But I was thinking of two options.
Mm-hmm.
Really getting on her about it.
Yeah.
Or just saying, you know what, this might not be what you need to be doing. Because it's not like she's a bad employee or a bad...
Right.
But it's like, if I have a 70-year-old lady or person at church, not lady or female, and I want them to run our social media network...
That might be, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. Let me tell you what.
Some people do, but at the same time, in the company, you have to evaluate... Is this the best suitable thing for them?
That's true.
If they're not technically savvy on social media, then they might
Are
not.
you expecting something from somebody that doesn't have the skill set to do it? Actually, why don't we talk about that when we come back? But we're going to take a quick break, real quick. You're listening to Doni Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady, and that
she owns the tree company here in
mention
Atlanta,
that.
Georgia.
Yes.
If it falls, you know who to call.
Don's Tree Service.
Yep.
Go
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Give me the number.
770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE. And it's time to get your trees inspected, so call me.
Yep, and I'm Marty McFly. We'll be right back.
Now when the weather starts to change, the branches start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, who a tree specialist call?
Don's Tree
If the
Service.
trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one falls on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE. Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady. We got to start recording.
Some of it, but actually we need to start putting it together and putting it out there, because this recording, I don't cut the cameras off.
Yes.
It's just certain things we don't like to show people. But Donnie, it's a couple of different things. Now, don't answer the phone.
I'm not.
There's a couple of things that if you're just tuning in, we were talking about entrepreneurship and the aspect of, I guess we kind of shifted, but we're talking about people that are in your company that are good people, but some of the job responsibilities that you may put on them might not be up under their umbrella, or there might not be the best suitable people for that.
Okay.
But and it's crazy because coming back off the break, you made me think of something that I actually forgot. And I was trying to see if it was going to come back to me real quick. But
does that mean you're getting old?
It might be, but I think it's because there was a couple of thoughts. You told me something the other day.
Yes.
Because I'm dealing with one of those roller coaster things where the office building that we're in,
we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're dealing with the AC issue. But I was asking Donnie, should I actually, go against the grain and say, let me just move and go to another studio?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
said something I think I told you a long time ago
Yeah.
that you reminded me about.
Yes.
That, are you trying to make a
Permanent decision in a temporary situation.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And, when it deals with your situations with work and jobs, now I remember what I want to say, but when you're dealing with your up and down systems in your roller coaster, sometimes you do not need to jump off the roller
Right.
coaster at that time.
Right.
At the same time, there are certain times you need to say it ain't working, let me go.
Yes.
And that's, I think, with employees and with life sometimes.
Yes.
Relationships with people. That certain people, and that's what I'm trying to get to. Certain people, you have to realize you might be a good person, but I don't need to keep you in my circle.
Right.
Because
Right.
you're not benefiting it. At the same time, there's people that you need to keep in your circle, put in your circle, and actually spend more time with
Right.
them in your circle, because
But how do
certain
you-
people make you better.
Yes.
Even with their ups and downs, they make you better. And sometimes you have to surround yourself with more people that are doing things
Yeah.
and positive and,
Yeah.
have a good, I guess, work ethic.
Yeah. But the thing
that-
with people that make you better, sometimes they will challenge you and you have to check yourself and
Yeah.
go, wait a minute. I'm feeling some kind of way about what this person says, but I believe that if you know that God put them
Oh, yeah.
in his life, in your life, then you have to go, wait a minute. This person is here for a reason, and maybe I do need to work on this area. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh,
times
yeah.
we also have the situation where we're ready to cut somebody out because they challenged us, and it's actually an area that we need to be challenged. I remember for the longest time, and I'm not trying to be funny, but you used to challenge me on my timeliness. Because we were scheduled at 11 or we were scheduled
yeah.
at 12, and then I'll be walking here at 1:30 and you're like,
Yeah, you know what? And you taught
Donnie,
me.
and so
Right.
I'm working on that, or at least communicating when, I can't be somewhere. In other words, instead of me going, well, who he think he is and this, that, and the, I'm like, no, this is something as a business person that I need to be mindful of that has probably plagued me, not probably, has plagued me my whole life.
Yeah.
So-
And and with that, you taught me about, with clients like that, get a credit card.
Yes.
And if they're late, you
Yep,
charge them late
you charge
fees.
them.
And-
There you go.
But we kind of joking on that with me and her, but it is one of those things of holding people accountable. But with time, understand it can really affect your life. A friend of mine, one of my closest friends, had one of the best and worst learning lessons of his, I guess, adult life.
Right.
One of the professors at Morris Brown wanted to teach him a valuable lesson. They said,
Right.
your paper needs to be turned in by 12 o'clock on Friday for it to count for your finals.
Yes.
This was his senior year, ready to graduate.
Yes.
Sending out, invitations, save the date cards and everything.
Right.
But procrastinated
Come on.
and did not turn this paper in at 12. He got there like at 1 o'clock and was like, she'll take it. Ain't no big thing.
Right.
And she said, I'm going to teach you a valuable lesson. I'm not accepting it, and you failed. You will not be graduating.
Get out of here.
And to this day, he was upset and pissed
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. Granted, but it was a life learning lesson.
Yeah.
That sometimes you can't take time for granted because you can't get it back, and
You can't-
people hold you accountable.
And we always say that time is money.
Right.
But time is more valuable than money.
Yes.
Time is way more valuable than money.
Yes.
I feel like we're a little chill today, but I feel like we kicking knowledge right now. Seriously. And I do love the format. I don't know if some of you guys have been watching us a while. I feel like there's a little bit of a format change, but I love it. I love that we're taking these thoughts and ideas and we're making them more concise, because we really do want to be of value. Like I've
Right.
created a successful tree care company. He's created a successful production company, and he's a pastor. And so we do want to take these life lessons, And you know what's so funny?
What's that?
I was watching TD Jakes the other day, and I was listening to him, and I'm like, yeah, he got this right. Yeah, I wish more people knew, but man, everybody need to be watching this. Well, guess what? A lot of people do watch TD Jakes and they learn. A lot of people do watch Oprah and they learn. But we have to understand that sometimes we have to be the example
Right.
for other people. Sometimes we have to be the TD Jakes in our own way, or the Oprah in our own way. But we keep going, man, somebody need to listen, and people need to do. Well, you need to be the person to tell that person that. Sometimes we have to be like.
Right.
Sometimes people can impart a good message on us, but we're waiting for other people to get the message, just like we got the message. Well, the message is being given to us so we can give it to somebody else.
True.
You know?
True. And you know, I need to tell TD, he got to stop stealing my sermons. I think he's been biting on.
No.
You know, because I put mine out there, and every one of them, I'm like, I think he got that one from me. He just got a bigger audience, you know, but I think he's been getting. But anyway,
you know what?
I'm just saying.
I used to work. I was in network marketing for a while, right? And the leader of that company, or one of the leaders in the company, he would like say something. And back then I was young, so I didn't know, you know,
Right.
so I'm listening to his content, life-changing stuff, great stuff about sales, great stuff about personal development. And then I get out of that company, I start listening to Tony Robbins and stuff, right? And I'm like,
you realize.
you stole all that stuff. Like,
Right.
but it was powerful stuff, but I'm like,
No, and
you stole all that stuff from Tony.
Honest, being honest, when I first started out, I did listen to TD Jakes and a lot of different pastors, and I would take a piece of that and piece of this. But people at my church are saying, yeah, you know, I listened to TD this morning. He was kind of on that same vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, well, I can't go. But they do say, if you want to be like someone, you know, want to be better in your craft, mimic someone that is already out there.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
Miles Monroe. So, you know, he used to copy his mentors.
Yeah.
You know, and would mimic their sermons and speeches.
But isn't that kind of like what mentors are
that's
for?
what you're, that's
not
what
necessarily
you're
to
trying
copy.
do. Right, you're not trying to actually copy or mimic. And even what I would do back then is, if he had say something, I was like, okay, that's a good way of delivering that.
Yeah.
You know, I would put it in my own words. You know, because I think that if it's self-help for someone else, it's not really. And I'm not, you know, sitting up there, I'm claiming it and writing it down in a book. You know, but I think if it's good information that can help somebody else, then utilize it.
Well, going back to what we were talking about, because I like to kind of, I'm trying to learn to keep things more concise. I think we had talked about how pressure creates diamonds.
Right.
And all these different things that we're talking about is part of you creating the diamond life that you want, the great life that you want. And you mentioned these different people that achieved all these great things. Well, think about it. They probably on a daily basis have different pressures, and in some case, more pressures, and more people pulling at them, and more problems. Now, granted, they may have a team of people to take care of those problems, but even with that, they've got to manage that team.
Every level has its own set of problems and sets of pressures, you know, and don't think that there's a graduation point that you make it that there's no more problems.
There's no more problems.
No, you're always going to have problems.
But it's also
Money
how you're
might not be your problem, but it might be conflict in the church, or conflict in your business, or how do you move to the next, or how do you satisfy certain customers. There's always and even with that, your business might be going great. But then you got to deal with your family life.
Come on now.
You know, and
there's always something. There's always something.
But I will say this, as we kind of wrap up with this last little thing, my little moment for the day.
Yes.
Something to think about, and I want to see if I can wrap it into here. A lot of things that we go through, the ups and downs. I would say God is on the sideline saying, I'm trying to get your attention.
Ooh.
You know, he said, because when it's good times and I'm playing the flute and everything for you, you don't hear me, but you're dancing. When I put some tragedy in there, you're mourning, but you're not hearing me. You know,
I'm writing that down.
and it's funny, even in the biblical aspect, he's like, I sent you someone that wasn't drinking, wasn't, you know, doing anything. He was a perfect little Christian person. Y'all wasn't listening to him. He was John the Baptist, you know, who didn't drink, you know, wine or anything. He said that I came, I'm drinking and hanging out with sinners, and y'all ain't listening to me. He said, I'm putting you through these things. I'm trying to get your attention.
Trying to get your attention,
Come at me, talk to me, so we can actually have smoother roads versus this roller coaster that you
it made me think of this. You know, whenever I'm going through a lot, obviously, I do believe in the philosophy of massive action will create results, right?
Right.
But sometimes there's a step before that massive action where you need to be still and hear what God is saying.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes God will just allow certain things to happen to where you almost get to that feeling where you got to go, man, I'm just throwing my hands up in the air. I'm just throwing my hands up in the air. I don't know what to do. In that moment, sometimes that's a moment of pause where you can just sit and think. Not even so much think, but listen. And kind of, decide, what is God trying to tell me? Like you say, he's trying to get your attention.
I'm just trying to get your
We preaching today, I think, today.
Yeah.
We're preaching today. But seriously,
somebody.
guys, we are talking to somebody. Once again, we like to make these videos because we feel like they bring value. And if they are bringing value to you, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're on YouTube. Hit that like, subscribe button. It means a lot. It helps with the algorithm. So hook us up with that. But we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. You're listening to Doni Jones Live. I'm Doni the Tree Lady.
I am that guy, Marty McFly, and see you in a second.
This is Marty McFly. Now, if you've listened to the show, there's not a secret. I'm a minister. I'm actually a pastor of a church, a wonderful church in East Point, Georgia, called St. Mark Lutheran Church. And what I want to do is invite you to one of our services, or any of our services. See, our service is online, on YouTube, and it's free. You ain't got to pay for it. You ain't even got to do offering. But I invite you to share with me in worship, and just check it out. If you like it, subscribe. And you can actually send me a message or a question. But it's St. Mark Lutheran Church with Minister Marty Ringer. You can actually log on right now and have church with me. That's St. Mark Lutheran Church with Minister Marty.
Hey, Doni the Tree Lady here. We are wrapping things up, and I'm hanging out with my guy.
Marty McFly.
Yeah.
That is, just trying to stay dry because it's hot.
Yeah,
in here
dude,
today.
who is hot here.
Yes.
But you know what, Marty? I got so much out of today's show. Where we're talking about how
Yes.
pressure builds diamond, pressures make diamonds. And listening for God's word. I just think it's awesome.
Say, with pressure making diamonds, I would say, God is trying to push you to greatness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that's that pressure that is pushing you
Yeah.
to greatness with the people that you're around.
Yeah.
With some of the obstacles and hurdles
Yeah.
that you have to go through in life.
Yeah.
Because going to the gym or the weight room, you got to push that weight to get
Push and
bigger and
pull.
get better.
Yeah,
So a
absolutely.
lot of times he's putting those weights and those things in your life for you to get stronger.
Yeah.
Start making it up to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And all I can do is sit here and go, man, I totally agree with you. And I think sometimes we need to stop complaining and start
Yeah.
appreciating.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you think about it, there's never anything that you went through that you didn't get through. If you're listening to this today and you're, within earshot of me, that means you got through whatever it is you went through back in the day. And whatever it is you're going through right now, you're going to get through that too. But along the lines, the next time you go through something, take the lessons. Because what I have learned about God is that if you don't get the lesson, he's going to teach the lesson to you again.
Yeah, you gonna
and
stay
the
back
next time, he's going to really get
It's going to try to get your attention, or
Yeah.
you're going to stay in second grade.
Yeah.
And some people keep, failing that grade, and they keep
Yeah.
getting stuck in that
Yeah.
second grade. No, I said second grade.
Yeah.
'Cause that was the year I kept getting
That was you.
stuck in all the time. But if you do your work right, sometimes you can skip a grade
Yeah.
or two, which
Yeah,
I did,
absolutely.
when I got to high school.
Yeah, but we're always trying to take it to the next level. But we did want to wrap up with, pressure makes diamonds.
Yes.
And listen for God's word and
He's
be
trying.
still and know that he is trying to talk to you. Once again, I'm Doni the Tree Lady. I own a tree care company here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep,
The name of the company is Don's Tree Service. We really want you to reach out to us and give us a call so we can schedule a time to come take a look at your trees. That number is 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE. And Marty?
And I am Marty McFly. I own Vast Productions, where we do pretty much anything with 2 speakers and a monitor. We kind of pretty much do it. Social media recordings of commercials. My mind just went blank. And also,
No, but I'm just saying, a
But yeah.
lot of people do own businesses that watch our show. So seriously, if
Right.
you need a commercial cut, you need some social media clips,
Chop,
you need
chop
somebody
that.
that can put together an afternoon and do some reels for you, holla at them. And of course, with me, you holla at for trees. But also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Smash that button, hit the notifications, and let us know how we can be of service to you. Peace.